I ended up getting an offer back from all 5 places, which was amazing.
But from one PowerPoint to did you have to make any PowerPoints while you was at Oxford?
Yeah, I did.
There we go.
Well,
Perfect.
Actually, not many at all. I made 2.
Well, you made a PowerPoint. So from one PowerPoint to another, you recently graduated from Oxford. I
did. You could have said that the day after MCC Rising submissions was my graduation. So there was a couple of tangential things. I've done loads of PowerPoints, guys. This is the bit now. Yeah, that's all that Oxford is. It's just make a new PowerPoint every week, and if you can do that, you get a degree.
Don't lead people into thinking that's real. Come on, Fulham, because the Americans would believe it. That's sick, by the way. Huge congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You studied, oh god, I'm going to say engineering, but I'm wrong, innit?
It was engineering, yeah.
Oh, it was, okay. So you know how to build, like the Royal Navy, so you went from, like, building a bike to being able to build it, like, fix a jet kind of thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. No, I'm actually, I pivoted away from civil and structural engineering to do information engineering, so I'm mostly to do with cognitive robotics, kind of artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, Internet of Things, that sort of stuff. So yeah, like a lot of difficult shit, but it's done now, and hopefully I never have to go back.
you're like really smart. You know,
thanks, bro. I appreciate that. Yeah, like I'd like to think I'm not too much of a silly goofy goose. I've got a little couple of brain cells up there, but I don't show them that frequently, and they only really come out when I need to talk about, like, you know, something very specific to do with engineering.
The validation.
If you ask me a general question about general knowledge, I'm occasionally very clueless. Like, don't speak to me about geography, because, you know, do not put GeoGuessr in front of me. I will not know where I am.
I was the one to give you the validation there, not Oxford. So me calling you smart is really different. But yeah, like, you kept that a secret for a long time. So how, like, I guess going into a bit away from Minecraft here and a bit into just like you in general.
Yeah, of course.
Getting into Oxford. Can I ask what college you went to, or would that be doxing yourself?
I do keep that private, to be fair. I haven't put it publicly. Have I? I actually have. I did once on stream, but I'll leave it.
We'll leave it. Yeah, we don't want to dox you. Okay, well, with like Oxford, how exactly did you go about getting into that? Was it your first choice? Did you apply for Cambridge? I'm going to be
deadly genuinely serious in the fact that I'm the first person in my immediate family to go to uni at all.
Okay.
I come from a pretty working class background. My mum never did higher education. She did eventually go back to a university to do an exam or like some sort of qualification, but it's not a degree. Same with my dad. My dad ended up doing some sort of accounting exam, but he doesn't have a degree. I think it might be like a partial diploma or something. But yeah, long story short, apart from my mum's cousin, so my second cousin, that's the closest relation that I have to anyone in my family going to university. So I had no idea. I'm an only child as well, so it's not like I have a brother or sister who's done school before me and tried the whole uni thing. So everything I knew about university was from friends telling me. So after my GCSEs, which are the exams you take at the age of 16 in the UK, I ended up basically finding everything out through my school and was like, yo, they basically said, yeah, you're kind of clever. Do you want to try out for Oxford or Oxbridge, which is Oxford or Cambridge? And I basically said no, because I'm not a loner and I don't want to have no social life. Then I was put into a group of like-minded nerds in a class that I took. And there was kind of a thing that was like, so who in here is going to be applying for Oxbridge? Because this is what we're going to be talking about for the next couple of weeks. Teacher assumes everyone puts their hand up. Me and my friend Tom are sitting at the front of the class like, I don't know, man. I'm not really sure about it. I'd much rather... I care quite a lot about my university experience. I want to go to uni. You know, at this time, I hadn't met my girlfriend. It was like, yeah, like, you know, I'm I think it would be cool to be able to spend a lot of time doing other things. I'm not just a set of grades. I like to play football. I'm a really big, I like to watch football all the time. I like video games. I like that sort of stuff. It's like I'd like to be able to be a part of more than just the name of Oxford. I look around at everyone else in the class. Me and Tom are sitting at the very front of the class, away from the teacher. So we have to look back and turn around at the whole rest of the classroom. And literally everybody else in the class, all 25 people, have their hands up. I'm like, oh shit, right, okay, so everyone's applying apart from us two. Turns out I get lectured for a little while. They say, we'd recommend it, and I was like, well, yeah, I guess. I mean, I kind of make my own destiny. If I care enough about uni, then I'll do everything that I can around it as well. Like, and that's something that in my head, because I'd never experienced Oxford before, I'd never experienced any uni before. In my mind, Oxford was really scary place. You only do work. You don't have any play. You don't have any fun. You don't have anything. The nightlife there isn't as good as some other towns and cities in the UK. You think of like Sheffield and Bristol and, some of those like much more lively locations. But it definitely wasn't bad. There was, I was able to participate in football teams. I was able to play at Premier League stadiums because of my university. I ended up playing at Selhurst Park twice, which was amazing. Really, really fun experience. We ended up doing a pretty deep cup run in the uni. In the uni cup, we ended up going to the final, playing at Oxford City Football Club, which was amazing. Really, really fun. Being able to be in the home dressing room, that sort of stuff, really put things into perspective. And that sort of stuff I obviously never would have got if I went to Southampton or something like that. But the point that I was trying to make was just I had never, ever experienced anything to do with university before. And this was maybe 6 to 9 months before I had to apply to these places. I didn't have any family members who had been. I didn't have any brothers or sisters who had been. I didn't have any friends who had been. So I was basically researching everything for myself for the first time. And Oxford was difficult. It really fucking was difficult to get into. But I didn't care that much. It was just like a thing of, well, if I'm clever enough, I get in. If I'm a bit lucky, I get in. If the interviews go well, I get in. If the admissions tests go well, I get in. It's like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And so I applied for Southampton, Bristol, Warwick, Imperial College London, and Oxford. I ended up getting an offer back from all 5 places, which was amazing. I had to take an interview at Imperial and at Oxford, and both of them ended up eventually accepting me, which was amazing. I sat my A-levels and Oxford was my first choice. I ended up getting 4 A stars at A-level and went to Oxford and have now graduated. You told me this 6 years ago, that I would be sitting here having graduated Oxford at this point. I wouldn't have even assumed that I was going to be going to Oxford. I didn't even know if I was going to go to uni at all because I'd never got this far. Doing GCSEs and doing school and stuff, that was all forced. You had to be in school until you were 18. Until you're 16, or you have to be in education until you're 18. And it's like, I had no plans. I had no expectations. Hell, I chose Oxford over Cambridge because I thought I was being really clever and being like, okay, well, Cambridge is where everyone goes to do maths and science. So maybe if I go to Oxford to do maths and science, maybe it'll be less competitive, which obviously doesn't fucking work. Like, hello? Are you dumb in the head? It ended up being more competitive. It was like 1 in every 14.5 students got accepted versus 1 in every 13.5 or something. And it's like, well, yeah, like I had no experience of this. I had no backing. I had no like family to fall back on that were, really knowledgeable in the topic or anything. But I just kind of made it work. There was nothing particularly that I did that was like a really big cheat code. It was just like I happened to stumble across Oxford and it was like, oh, okay. Like I did an open day. I went around and like looked at some of the different colleges and I ended up not even looking at the one that I went to. Like I turned up on the first day of my uni and it was like the first time I'd ever seen the college. So all of the stuff to me was basically brand new. I was thrown in at the deep end. So now I'm out on the other side. I can comfortably say it was an experience. Some things I'll never forget that were absolutely amazing. Some things were horrific and I would not wish upon anyone. But overall, coming out the other side with a bit of paper feels very good good is an horrendous adjective to describe 4 years of absolute torment. But
it was all right, I guess.
Yeah, fulfilling was the word that I was looking for. Yeah, it's been 4 years of really hard work, but I've got out the other side with a degree. So
you deserve it. You know, I can tell from speaking to you that you do deserve it. Like if anyone deserves it,
I know that like this is one of the things that I feel very awkward about. I felt very awkward about bragging about for a very long time, especially to like friends or family friends. It's like, oh, you go to uni? Where do you go? It's like, oh, I go to Oxford. It's like, it's sort of something I've always been quite a little bit embarrassed by, because I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, because it's one of the big things of like, you know, I understand that it's a very competitive uni to go to. I'm also a cis white guy who has gone here. It's like, yeah, am I just stereotypically more likely to get in? Probably, due to admission statistics and stuff and confirmation bias, etc. And so it's like a few things that make me say I don't really want to like brag about this. And then obviously also doing content creation at the same time, I don't really want to dox where I was living for 4 years as well. It's like a bit of both worlds. And it was like, okay, well, at least I don't have to experience any awkwardness. But then after 4 years, having told my close friends, you know, like I'm hanging out with Callum, and it's like, you know, yeah, I've got to go back to Oxford in a few days. I'm like, I didn't know you went to uni at Oxford. He was like, yeah. Like, how are you doing content creation at the same time? Like, you know, we talk about this sort of shit. And once I'd finally graduated, I was like, I feel like there's never been a better time for me to say this. I'm not doxing myself anymore. I don't live there. I'm done with my degree, and fuck me, I deserve to celebrate it a little bit. So I did, and I posted that big tweet, and it was one of my like most I feel like a little weight got lifted off my chest to be able to say, hey, it's over now. I've spoken to people about it online. I've told people. I don't have to almost hide it before. You know, a few of my uni friends had been in my chats and stuff, and it was like whenever some friends came in, it was like, I really don't want them to talk about my uni.
That's why you had it as a blocked word.
Yeah. I had it as a blocked word on my Twitch for a very long time. So a few people found it out, right? It was like, you know, they might try and put the word Oxford in for some random reason. You know, I've got a chatter who lives around that area in Oxfordshire, and they tried to say that, I think, one time, and it was like, why is that a blocked word? You know, if you're smart and you put two and two together, you might be able to realize, oh shit. And I hadn't been particularly amazing at hiding it in the past and stuff. Hell, there's still a reply from the University of Oxford saying, congratulations, Lewis, on results day, when I announced that I'd got in to Oxford. But obviously this was before I started Twitch. So,
if you really wanted to find it, you would have been able to.
Sorry?
If you really wanted to find it, you would have been able to.
Yeah. But obviously no one would really be, hopefully, doxing me like that. So they never did. And that's absolutely fine, because I wanted to keep it as a private thing, because like I say, I didn't want to brag about it and be, you know, particularly flamboyant and say, yeah, I'm really clever. I'm really, you know, I do this. This is really difficult for me. It's like, yeah, if people care, they, you know, if people are really close to me, they will know how difficult my uni degree is. If you're not that close to me, you don't need to know at all anyway. So, but as a summary, amazing experience, surrounded by some of the brightest minds in the world, made some absolutely fantastic friends. And there's always the question that was pinging around my mind for years of like, do I regret doing this? And part of me says, yeah, it would have been very much easier had I have gone to a place, you know, a uni like Southampton, which is still a very, very good uni, but the degree wouldn't have been anywhere near as challenging as it is at Oxford. But then I look back and think about all of the amazing experiences that I've had only because of, you know, being here. And I don't think I would ever change it at all. So having graduated, having done it, I can finally look back and say, yeah, I'm proud of myself. I've done an amazing thing that not a lot of people in the world can say that they've done. And now it's over. I'm not going back. I don't want to do a PhD. I don't want to do any further education.